Welcome back. If you've watched enough of my videos, you know that I don't like it when writers or people who profess to know something about guns make stupid statements about them. I would say that one of the stupidest, most dumb comments that I've ever seen or read about the Mini-14 or the M1 Garand, the M14, M1A, is that the location of the safety is poor because it is located where you have to place your finger in the trigger guard. No kidding. Think about that for a minute. You know, I don't like to take dumb comments out of context. Let's try to put them into the context that these dumb writers are making. They say that if you place your finger in the trigger guard, it's dangerous. What's dangerous about it? The safety is on. Mechanically, the Mini-14 and the Garand safety, which it derives from, is one of the safest mechanisms that was ever devised. It's not simply blocking the trigger. It's lifting and blocking the hammer. The trigger has absolutely no function at this point whatsoever. On a standard cross bolt safety, all you're doing is blocking the trigger, and a sufficiently hard wallop on the stock can cause the sear to jump and the gun can go off. This one here absolutely cannot do that. It's one of the safest, most inherently secure designs that was ever made. So, the standard rule is that you release the safety of a firearm when you're ready to fire. So, if I place my finger in the trigger guard and I release the safety, it's because I'm ready to fire, correct? What if I decide not to fire? I release my finger from the trigger guard and I pull the safety back, correct? I'm trying to figure out what the unsafe aspect is here. Let's go one further, that if I have the safety off, and though I'm, prepared to fire, but I'm not really ready to fire, I have the gun up and it can just go off. All right, so you're sitting in traffic, coming home from work, and it's creeping, crawling traffic on the highway, and you're trying to get home, and everybody's doing, 3 and 4 miles an hour, and then they wait for 3 minutes, and they go another, 50 feet or so. Your foot is on the gas pedal. Everybody's foot is on the gas pedal. If they push that, we'll call it a trigger, the trigger of the car or the truck they're driving. If they push it, the car is going to leap ahead and it's going to hit the car in front of them. Is that something you worry about? There's no guard around your gas pedal. The human body has certain controls about it. If it doesn't, then you shouldn't be handling a gun to begin with. If you can't direct how your finger is working on that trigger such that it's not pushing it, pressing it, pulling it, then you shouldn't be handling a gun to begin with. There's nothing inherently unsafe about it. Once I've decided to engage the firing mechanism to remove the safety, I pushed it forward. I'm not pulling backward toward the trigger, I'm pushing forward. And it's also permissible to push it forward with your thumb. Either way, I'm not pulling on the trigger. I'm just simply pushing the safety off. There's no need for me to keep my finger inside that trigger guard. I can go back to the same way that anybody would handle a Glock or, a striker-fired pistol. You can take your finger out if you feel that you can't control what your finger is doing the next moment or two, you can remove your finger from the trigger guard, push it off, get it out. If somebody can explain to me how that safety is in an unsafe location, I'd like to have you demonstrate it for me, because it's probably the safest, not only the safest, but it's the most convenient ambidextrous safety that was ever devised. It was specifically purpose located. It was made for the specific reason that a soldier in the field would know when his safety was on or off simply by having his finger in the trigger. He could know that at the instant that he needed to fire, he could all he has to do is push that trigger, that safety forward, and he's ready to fire. It prevented him from forgetting that his safety was either on or off. He knew immediately, simply by having his finger in the trigger guard, that it was either safe or unsafe. If he placed his finger in there and he couldn't feel the safety, all he had to do was pull it back and it was safe. If he put his finger in there and he felt that safety, all he had to do was push it forward and fire. Well, it's probably one of the shorter videos I've made, but I wanted to clarify that's probably the stupidest, dumbest comment or observation I've ever met. It's not an opinion issue, it's just plain stupid. This is a great safety. I think it's one of the best safety designs that was ever conceived. The only thing, if there is a flaw, is that it's rather clunky looking, but functional, absolutely. So, for all my Patreon donors, and please, if you're not a Patreon donor, please consider subscribing and help me out here so I can bring you more videos. It's very difficult to get out and do any shooting right now. We're down into the 20s. It's just not at all, the type of weather where I can get out and do any shooting. Plus, we've got quite a lot of snow. But I appreciate all your help and your support. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you are aware that I'm posting a new video. Thanks for watching. Benny is here waiting for me to go do something with him, which I'll do. God bless.